Okay, there are three main points that we are going to share to all of you today. The first one is overview, second one is data display, and the last one is the discussion of what we have found and with the literature review. So now, without further delay, allow me to move to the first main point, the overview of a research study. The objectives of a research studies is to find out the cause, effect, and solution of procrastination in college. And our research questions are: what is the relationship between procrastination and study performance? What are the causes of academic procrastination that most college students fail to notice? What are the effects of economic procrastination that most college students receive? And last but not least, what are the suitable solutions to cope with procrastination? And for our methodology for data collection, our research is a research methodology, and we come up for data collection. We employ two instruments. The first one is questionnaire and in-depth interview. In that questionnaire, a question will be employed as a tool to collect data from respondent. The questionnaire consists of three sections. The first section requires the respondent to supply their personal information. The second comprises of close-end questions which ensure that each or respondent to answer the question and for the researchers to analyze. And for in-depth interview, we will conduct it with three key information. One will be the student from English Department of Institute of Foreign Languages on Year 3 student. Another will be student from the same institute, same years but different shift. And the semi-structured, the unstructured interview will take time approximately 7 minutes each student.
Now let's move to the main second point, which is about the data display. After conducting the data collection through survey and unstructured interview, we have found a lot of information. So the first finding is about the causes. Firstly, the time management caused students to rush on their works, which would normally reduce the quality of those works. According to the student response, 52 of them said that they failed to set their schedule for the deadline or the time, and with 5 do not even bother to do so. Out of 70, only 8 students has successfully stuck to the schedule they made. But the worst part is 21 of students surveyed do not set a daily schedule to manage time properly. With that said, it is possible to assume that more than 60% of IFL students fail to manage their time properly, which is what lowers their performance in school. On the other hand, lacking of motivation is what usually makes students give up on their assignment. Based on our first participant who joined our interview said that she lacks of motivation from her family, since her parents did not stay with her every day, so they do not know how hard she have endured from her study. Hence, they fail to encourage her, and that is the reasons why she feel discouraged on her study. And most importantly, entertainment is believed to be the one to get in the way of students fulfilling their task earlier. All 4 student interview state clearly that social media and movie are what make them procrastinate. Moreover, 2 of them said that they sometimes spend most of the time hanging out with friends, making all their assignment to be sidekicks. And none of none of the 70 students mentioned that they do not use their social media or phone even for a single day. So the first interview said that she spent most of her time enjoying Facebook and Korean drama, leaving her works to the last minute. All those so that entertainment lure and distract students from their schoolwork and cause procrastination. Now let's move to the second finding is the effects. According to the statistics, average score of the schoolwork so that 59% of students participating in the survey studies earn the mark below 90, and 37% earn the marks below 70, and only 1.4% got below 50. Additionally, based on the survey, the average score of semester exam illustrates the effects of procrastination. It can be understood that only 35.7% receive the average score. The average score 70 to 89, while 60% of students get below 70 points when they procrastinate, and only 1.4% got above 90 points. Furthermore, it is indicated from GPA that 72.9% of participants got GPA below 3. To put it into a simply way, most of them got low score because they procrastinate. Also, it can draw a conclusion that only 27.1% get a good score above 3 GPA because they don't procrastinate. Now let's move to the last finding is about the solution. Noticeably, students gain the awareness of cause and effects of procrastination, yet they simply take it for granted. As a matter of the fact, through our data collection with the survey and unstructured interview designs, it shows that there are significant strategy and methods from potential respondents on how to deal with procrastination. According to the survey, 44.3% of students from different classes use the strategy manage the time properly. Similarly, one participant from class E 3.1 raised up his strategy over procrastination. His strategy is to have a good time management, and mostly he have his own schedule to put to all the tasks in one file, and he put a deadline, and he always looks through it every day, and he call them to-do list and can see the deadline task which reach the deadline first. Additionally, through the survey, more than 72% of respondents set priority of their work so that they are able to deal with the bad effects from procrastination. Also, 44.3% of all respondents plan their schedule carefully to avoid putting off their tasks. Like this, one female participant from our class said that she rejected her friend from going out because she had to do the assignment that nearly reached the deadlines. Moreover, 40% of the respondents organize the works properly. And according to the statistic, it indicated nearly it indicates that 30% of respondents delegate. It means that get help from other to be a good solution for them dealing with procrastination. One female from our class add more that the first strategy that he always use is to ask a friend to be reminder, meaning that to tell each other about the task that we have so that so that they can start the task on time. Furthermore, according to the survey, 21 participants among 70 suggest using the strategy avoid multitasking, and 24 students suggest using organizing the task into a small piece. By the same person from the female, the male from our class, he described his strategy to deal with procrastination. He tried to break down the task into small pieces so that he do the task one by one earlier than the deadline, and he don't have to do the rush completing the whole task in one day, but instead he divide the small. He can do the small task every day, and in other day we can compile it. And 24 participants try to stay healthy so that they won't get distracted from it.
So after you have listened to what I have presented you about our finding, so now let's move to the discussion part. And we can see that there are 2 points which is similar to our literature reviews: non-work activities and entertainment. And non-work activity here means like when students involving in non-work activities like social media, playing Facebook or playing Instagram, or can be they go out with friends and leaving their work until the last minute. And compared to entertainment, like what I have told you already, is also the main causes which get in the way for students to fulfilling their task earlier. Like in our data collections, not a single one person among 70 people said that they do not play social media or phone even for a single day. And the second point, which is poor time management and failures in time management. Like in the literature review, we also mentioned about poor time management. Poor time management here is like when students fail to set their schedule or set priority of their work properly, they will get less things done, or they won't be able to balance their tasks properly. So the task might be keep delaying again and again. And in failure in time management here, in the data finding, we can see that more than 60% of IFL students fail to manage their time properly. So besides the similarity, there are also one point which is different from each other. Like the first one is avoidance of work. Avoidance of work here, when the tests are too difficult or it's feel too much pressure, so the student tend to avoid it or run away from it. And the lack of motivation is what we have found in our data. Like according to our first interviewee, she stated that sometimes she lacks motivation to finish her work. She doesn't receive encouragement from the people she loves, so she has no feeling to focus on the task that she has assigned for. And this is all of the causes, so let's move to the effects. So there are 2 effects in our literature review. The first one is students put their physical well-being at risk, like when they trying to rush things up, so they won't be able to eat or rest properly. For example, like they drink coffee or other energy drink in order to keep them awake for the whole night to finish the test. And when this happens for many days or for several days, their body will become weak, and sometimes they can be sick, like catching a cold, or they have some problem with their stomach, or their brain don't have enough protein to process well. And even in so many years, like when they have to stay awake for the whole night for too many days. And the second one is poor time performance in their academic life. This one we also found it in our data finding. Students do not review their lesson properly. They do it only a night or a day before the exams, so they won't be able to do well in their test. And also the work or the project that take them 1 week or 2 weeks to complete it, but they take only 1 night to finish, so the results will be poor compared to those who do it 1 week or 2 weeks. And in our finding, procrastination does really affect to student performance. Like we find out that 72.9% got GPA below 3, and not really 3, it's just around 2.5 or sometimes it's even below 2 because of their procrastination. And so now let's move to the solutions. The solutions in our literature review, there are 3 solutions. It's like the first one, set a good time management. Students should learn to arrange the schedule or set the priority of the work properly. And the second point is to segment the task into various smaller pieces. It's like instead of trying to do a big amount of work at the same time, which can stress them out, they can divide it into smaller pieces and do it step by step. And the third point is reward yourself. Like when you finish something or some project, you can reward yourself by going to watch movie or buy something for yourself by getting a good result. And it also adds the solutions that we extracted from our literature review, including 2 questionnaires. The first one is management time properly. We found out that among 70 students, there are 31 who chose these solutions and set priority, 51, plan schedule, 31, organize the work properly, 28, avoid multitasking, 20, and categorize the text into smaller pieces, 24, stay healthy so you won't distract from it, 24 as well. So we can see that these are the solutions that students among 72 have chosen to practice in their study. So this is all of our presentation. Thank you.